Styxhexenhammer666. I really dig your videos. This is Yusuf Reyes. Um, and I studied Gnosticism for about 20 years, 25 years. So I just have just a few questions, and you know, um, now I don't know if this is just you misspeaking, but when you describe Gnosis, which just means knowledge, you probably meant the monad, the supreme oneness, the perfect aeon, as well as the pleroma, which is the fullness. Um, and the monad emanated forth the aeons, right? And then until one became so stupid and ignorant that he thought he was the only God, ignorant or evil, that he created the physical world. And then there was the archons, the rulers of these physical realms, which were, basically the minions of the demiurge. And then you have there's other concepts like logos, Sophia, gnosis. The monad created the logos and the Sophia, or they emanated forth, right? Because the monad was Barbello. But let me get to my questions, okay? So here are a few questions, if you could please clear them up for me. At 36 second, you said Gnostics were oppressed by Christians. When did this happen? If you were to go back and ask the Basilidians, the Sethians, the Ophites, the Valentinians, you know what they call themselves? Christians. Jumping ahead a little bit, you said that the demiurge was the Christian god. It wasn't. It was the Jewish god. The Gnostics believed that Jesus and God the Father were alien gods to the demiurge, that they came to disrupt the demiurge, and the demiurge was most likely the god of the Old Testament. Paul is usually seen as the creator of Gnosticism. If you read his writings, the law and the Jewish God is just basically a veil put over the minds of men. Marcion thought this. Actually, all the Gnostic groups, the Basilidians, the Valentinians, the Ophites, the Sethians, they all claim to trace back to Paul, and that he was the only true apostle because he saw Christ after the resurrection, and that the other 12 apostles didn't understand because they were still, thinking that, the Jewish God was all right. Second 56. The church consisted of buildings, no priesthood. Church or ecclesia is just assembly. It's just the assembly of people. You mentioned Arians as being Gnostics. Arians called themselves Catholics, and they began with the monk Arius, and the only difference between them and the Catholics at the time was 1 iota. They were identical. The Vandals and the Visigoths were Arians. In fact, there were many Byzantine emperors that were Arians. For about 200 years, Arianism was the main church in the Roman Empire when it was the Byzantine Empire, when it was, Christian Empire. Minute 140. Gnostics were beaten and crucified, burned alive, thrown to wild beasts. They were by pagans for being Christians, but the Christians never did this to them. If you could help me out and show me any information where this ever happened. In fact, under the Bogomils, they tortured the shit out of the non Gnostic non-Cathars, as did the Albigensian Cathars against the Roman Catholics. Min- Minute 153. Undivided divine totality is what you call, I think, the Gnosis. That's the monad, right? Sophia is the monad, or a goddess. 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Cosmic divine whole purest light. Again, the monad. Also, that's a term in Orthodoxy. By trying to describe, you destroy it. Apophatic reasoning is from the East, Eastern Christianity. And finally, 5 minutes and 32 seconds. What the Christians call God is an evil God. I went through this before. I think you mean the Jews, since the Gnostics considered themselves Christians, right? And they just called the other groups Christians Judaizers. In fact, there are many Gnostic works contained in the New Testament. So those are some questions. But the Gnostics, the characteristics, they're docetic. They believe the physical world is evil. Sex is the worst thing. Women don't have souls. And anybody who finds beauty in the physical world is evil, because they're the Dakate. They're docetic because the physical realm was created by the demiurge, Saklos, Yabtaboth, or whatever the hell his name is, the bad guy, the god of the Jews. But, Marcion, who wasn't exactly a Gnostic, and then Valentinus, Basilides, all the other guys said, no. The creator God is evil, but Christ was the serpent in the garden. And that's why he likens himself to the serpent, that was raised up, the bronze serpent. So, yeah. Just a few questions, and wondering where did you get your information about Gnosticism? That the Gnostics thought that the Christian God was evil. They thought the Jewish God was evil, but they definitely worshipped Christ as the Logos. And the Sophia, which means wisdom, is the counterpart. Today in the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Logos is basically the Tao. And did they believe in a heaven? Yes. It was the Pleroma. They believed they'd be resurrected to bodies of light because the physical world was evil. That's why the perfecti in a lot of the groups would starve themselves to death. All right, peace to you. Thank you.